Alright guys, so we have all of our joist pockets are cut. We've got our scarf joint is cut. All I have left to do to finish this tie beam off is cut this tenon out of here and cut the brace mortise, which I think I'm going to do that one by hand because it's going to be hard to clamp the chain mortiser on. Oh, wait a minute, maybe not. Thinking wrong here. Yeah, I'm going to do this one by hand because this bottom's out of square and I don't like clamping the mortiser on something out of square. It just does a terrible job. So we'll do that one by hand. But so anyhow, one of the very early videos I showed you guys, I didn't really explain anything. I was kind of trying to find my way and how to do it right and all that. But anyhow, one of my very early videos, I think is like my third one on the channel, third one listed. I cut a tie beam tenon and I kind of did it the hard way. So if you have a bandsaw mill set up at home, kind of nice to be able to take advantage of that, as I am doing here. And just like anything else, we are concerned with the reference face and the adjacent face. Beautiful. Now, I don't mind having it a little bit above the line because that'll give me room to make adjustments if I need to. So anyhow, I'm going to do most of the hard part right here in the sawmill. On that early video I did, I kind of did it the hard way. Not even really the hardest way. I mean, I used power saws and stuff, but this just works nice. But thing to keep in mind when you set this on your sawmill, if you have a sawmill and that's what you're doing, make sure your adjacent face, depending on which way your tenon's going, but since this is a horizontal framing member, my reference face is pointing up, not down. And again, we said that is because we want the floorboards to meet up, everything to do what they're supposed to do. So if that's my reference face, I'm laying this down on the adjacent face to the reference face, the side that my arris is, where the 2 points meet. This way I know I'm cutting square to the reference face. So that's kind of important. I mean, you're going to follow those principles through the entire frame. So we're going to fire the sawmill up. I'm going to cut these. It takes very little time to do it this way. And you guys can see what we got. All right. Alright, that's the easy way. Alright, so you can see what we have there. Kind of, I cut just about to the line on that side. When you come around here to this side, it's going to be shy. It's going to be shy because we have a housing here. Alright. So we'll explain that when we put this together. When I cut the wall post, we'll explain that a little better. Okay, so we roughed this out on the sawmill, and now I've just got to clean it up, pare it down to my line. Use this little block plane here. I only have to take about a 1/16 of an inch off. I like about a block plane is it goes across that like a cross grain really well. It does a nice job. You know, what I need to get is a rabbiting plane, one that I can get tight into there. Those I got to finish off with a chisel. And you can see there, I still get a healthy amount of line right there. It's only about a 1/16, but we got to get that cleared to there. Oh, going the other way on the knot. I'm going to clean this corner up. Now these knots I'm not too concerned with. I mean, that's really pretty small surface area. Normally, I mean, if you can get away with it, you'd like that clear on the tenon, but, you know, unfortunately, you're going to find situations where you kind of have to deal with what you have and try to make it work. Little saw blade chatter there, but you can see right there I did get there with my planer, with my block plane. This here, I think I'm already lower there. There. One side, take a straight edge, just check it, make sure you got it good and straight. Got about I think here, middle's a tiny bit higher, but not enough to say so or to really fuss with too much. And we could take it down a little bit, but it's really not at a point where it's going to bother anything. There we go. We can live with that. Also, when you're done, it's pretty square there. Not bad. Now, when you're flipping these over, I'm not worrying about marking these beams up a little bit. It doesn't bother me for what I'm using it for. I mean, this is going to be my shop. So if I get a few dimples from the PV, I'm not too concerned about it, but keep in mind if you're trying to do finished beams, nice smooth, and you're trying to get the look, you know, the aesthetics perfect, you're going to want to do something other than a PV. You can use I've taken and used a strap with a 10-foot 4x4 to roll the logs and roll these over. That works really well. I said, usually I'm not too terribly concerned about it. Tell you what, a pallet jack is beautiful for doing this kind of work. Hey, remember what I said about only cutting your line. Only cut what you can see. That's how you keep it accurate. I really need to invest in a good rip saw. Because trying to do this like this with a crosscut saw is a bit of a pain. I just find it helps too if you put a little wedge in there, keep your saw from pinching. Makes it a lot easier to cut that off. You hear that, guys? I think it just laughed at me. We're not quite there yet. Now you're going to be tempted when you do this to take your chisel. You're going to be tempted to take your chisel and drive that in there. Try to avoid doing that, you know. Because all you're going to do is mark up that end, and you're going to see it every time you walk in the building. That mark will be there from when you got impatient. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight with this thing. Oh, we're so close. Yeah, I mean, we are close. There we go. All right. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I'm going to do the final check on this when I go to put this joint together. But I just shave it down to the lines now. And then when I go to slide this bent together, or put the wall post into this, and so I'll do my test fit, and if I have to do any adjustments, I'll do it there. So another thing I can point out to you guys is relish. And for the Q&A video, I will get you the rules of thumb for the relish that you need to make this a strong joint. So when I go to peg this, my holes are going to be 2.5 inches up, 2.5 inches out. Going to go right in the center, 2.5 inches out, 2.5 inches down, 2.5 inches out. The reason it gets done that way, for one, that's going to leave me probably about 7.5 inches of relish there, maybe a little bit more. A little bit less there, a little bit less there, but it's still going to leave me. And what the relish is, it's that area past the pegs that has to hold together to keep the pegs from pulling out of there. So say I were to peg this back here. Well, you don't have an awful lot of relish left that's going to keep that joint from sliding apart. So what that could possibly do, remember these tie beams, they're going to be under a tension load. That means, let's say the wall post is coming that way, and at the top plate of the wall post, you're going to have rafters against there, and the rafters are going to want to push out against that top plate. That's going to push out against the wall posts. The wall posts in turn are going to push out on this joint here against the relish. So if I peg this way back here and I don't have enough relish, that has the possibility that that thing could pop that peg right out through there, because being the difference in the species of wood, this being white pine versus white ash, what my pegs are, this white pine is going to give out long before those white ash pegs do. So, and that's one reason I'm doing 3 pegs. It's one reason I'm doing 3 pegs with it. For one, it gives me more strength. And the other thing, it's just 3 spots where it has to try to rip against that relish. So keep that in mind when you're designing your joints. And the reason that we're going 2.5 inches up and 2.5 inches out, we're going by the thickness of that tenon right there. That's where your layout is for that. So when you're done cleaning this up, you take and you chamfer the edges of this right here, because when you're putting the bent together, When you go to put that bent together, that's gonna help you line it up and slide it in a lot easier. And when you don't do this, it makes it very hard to put it together. You hit all four sides. Now another thing you can do, you could take your chisel and just pare across that grain. You know what I mean? You can just do that with it. You do the same thing. So anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed that one.